Yeah, for the recording purpose. So good morning, everyone. Okay. Yeah. So Sindhu, please go ahead. So what are the limitations of JMeter? Can you please come again once?
So when first is it just supports only 10 protocols. More than that, applications which are developed under like SAP in different languages, it doesn't support. And also we have to do the load test in non-GUI mode. One
Okay.
and one more thing is whenever we want to install plugins, everything, there might or might not be some connectivity issues as per my knowledge. If I'm wrong, just let me know, Kishore.
No. So no, there will not be any connectivity issues in plugins. Okay, there may be
Okay.
some technical issues, trivial issues, right? So
Yeah.
major disadvantages of JMeter are like it it supports limited. It supports only 10 protocols, right? That is one thing, and
Yes.
it's a best tool for web applications, but not for desktop applications, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And like like we don't have dedicated support team, right?
Kid Rising, you don't have proper support to work on with
No,
that. Yeah, you're right.
we don't have any dedicated support team, not proper. So we don't have,
Oh,
there will not be a support team at all because it's an open source tool, right?
yes, yes.
Right. So those are the important and one more thing is high memory consumption. This is important, right? So high memory, see, limited protocol support compared to licensed tools. You have to mention this. Okay, compared to
Okay.
licensed tools, it supports because it supports 10 protocols, right? So we are saying that it's a multi-protocol, right? Not right. It supports multi-protocol. But however, like when compared to licensed tools, it supports only 10 protocols. It supports limited protocol, right?
Okay.
Is it clear? So, I
Yes.
will change it as, like limitations. Okay. It should not be disadvantages. Okay. I'll change it as, limitations. And high memory consumption, yes. And, dependency on Bean Shell and Perl for complex scripting. And let me, like high memory issue is common when running. So I'll put this, next to this one. Right. And no dedicated support team. This is another limitation or disadvantage, and can't run test executions in GUI mode, right?
Yes.
All right. So having said that, let's move on to the next concepts, right? So let's understand like how does JMeter support perform load testing, right? How does JMeter perform load testing? All right. So basically, JMeter creates the request. So when we are using JMeter, when we develop scripts using JMeter and we are running a test, or right when we are running a script, so JMeter creates the request and sends them to the server, just like a web browser requesting a page, right? So it simulates the real world users. So if you see here, it simulates the real world user and creates request to the target server by simulating a number of users, right? So if you see this diagram, so it will simulate, JMeter scripts will simulate real world users, and it will send the request to the server. Yes, those who are having background noise, please mute yourself. Okay, so JMeter creates request to send requests and sends them to the server, just like how a browser requests a page, right? And receives the response from the server, collects them, and visualizes these details in a chart or a graph. We'll see this how it will collect the results. How can we visualize those results in a chart or a graph using JMeter, right? So we have different elements for that, like right. So we will see those, all those details, like how can we visualize those details in a chart or a graph. And it processes the response from the server. And it generates the test results in several formats such as text, XML, and JSON, right? Now, so it generates the test results. Guess, is it clear so far? See, first of all, JMeter simulates the real world users, and it will create the request. What request is?
Users.
HTTP.
HTTP request, FTP request. It supports FTP also, right? So and HTTPS request, right? So it will send it. JMeter creates those requests and sends them to the server, just like a browser, right? So just like how user access any application, it will send the request to the server, and it will receive the response from the server, collects them and visualizes those details in a chart or a graph. Okay, and it receives and it processes the response from the server. Once it gets the response from the server, it processes and it will, it will collect those, that information, right? And it generates the test results in several formats such as text or XML or JSON, right? Now, like for new joiners into this batch, we have two new terms. What is XML and what is JSON? Text, you know that, right? Text response, you know that. And HTML response, you know that. So you know that or no? HTML response, you know that, right? What is HTML response, guys? So I started the sample application, right? Localhost 81. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's some issue with my laptops again. Okay. Okay. Let's see any other application. Okay. I will show you one more application, one more good application that we will be using for scripting. So sometimes this application also doesn't work. Okay. Okay, cool. This is working today, right? So you send a request to the server, say, for this page like advantageonlineshopping.com, right? And you got a response from the server. Browser got a response from the server. So, and if you see this page source, right? This is HTML response, right? This is text star HTML response. We call this as text star HTML response, guys. See, you see this HTML code, right, guys?
Yes,
HTML
yes.
head and body and so on.
Yes.
Right? So, okay, let me quickly show you like what is the typical structure for, HTML code, let me, so HTML, this is the opening tag, and, this is just a, a skeleton of HTML code, okay, right? And you will have
Code.
you need not remember this, okay, but for those like who are interested, who want to know, so this is the opening tag of a head, right? And this is the opening tag for body, response body, okay? And this is the closing tag, okay? And then you have closing tag for HTML, all right? This is the
Yes.
closing tag for head. This is the beginning tag, which is in angle bracket, right? We'll read this as angle bracket, right? And this is the closing tag. So if you have this slash symbol, right? So it is a closing tag, okay? So clear, right? So you see the same thing here, right? So HTML head, and this is closing tag and body. This is somewhere you see the closing tag for that body, and then HTML tag will be closed at the end. Yeah. So here it is. Right. So in between that, you will have a lot of other tags like TD, TR, and so on, DIV and so on. Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. So it generates the test results. Okay. Coming to this, test results. We can generate the test results in several formats such as text, XML, and JSON. Okay. So this is about this line. This line is about test results, JMeter test results, and JMeter test results can be saved in several formats such as text, XML, and JSON. Right now, like new joiners, they came across two terms, new terms like XML and JSON. Right. So what both XML and what is the difference with, first of all, what is the purpose of XML and JSON? Except purpose of XML and JSON is to store and transport data, right? So purpose of XML and JSON is to store and transport data, right? Is it clear, guys? I know, like if you let me show you, I have one slide on XML and JSON in the performance testing introduction slides. Right. So here it is. You remember, right? I explained this CSS and JavaScript here, and I told that XML and JSON. I'll explain it later. So basically, both these XML and so here you go. So this like a short description about XML and JSON. So both XML and JSON were the purpose of both of them is storing and transporting database, right? Store and transport data. The purpose of XML is also store and transport data. JSON also the same. Now, what is the difference between XML and JSON is JSON is a lightweight format for storing and transporting data. JSON is a lightweight format. First of all, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. I hope everyone knows this XML, most of you. XML full form is Extensible Markup Language. Okay, extensible markup language. I have highlighted the letters, in each word, and JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. All right, and it is a and what is the main difference between XML and JSON is JSON is a lightweight format. Nowadays, everyone is using JSON. Now, JSON is often used when data is sent from server to a web page. See here, observe here. So JSON is often used when data is sent from when server is sending response to the browser also, JSON is also used, right? And what is the main, what do I mean by this lightweight format? I have highlighted, this is important to know. Okay. This is important to know. I have, kept in a different color, right? So what is another important interview question? What is the difference between XML and JSON? Right? So important difference is, yes, both are, first of all, both are. So what you have to answer, how you have to answer this question is both XML and JSON are designed to store and transport data. Difference between XML and JSON is, JSON is a lightweight format compared to XML. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
What is meant by this lightweight format? I'll come to this. Someone is asking something.
Yeah, same. I was thinking to ask what is meant by lightweight format.
Okay. Yeah, I'll explain that. So, if you see the structure of XML or JSON, so I have some two examples here. So, like in these two examples, the first one is JSON example. Suppose, say for example, someone want to transport data of 3 employees. Okay. Or store the data of 3 employees. And if we follow XML format, this will be looking like this. This is the XML format. You have a opening tag for employees. Under that, like you will have again employee tag, opening tag of employee, and this is closing tag. And you have first name, again closing tag for first name, and last name, closing tag for last name. So this is how XML is designed. XML was designed. Okay. This is how the format of XML is defined as such. However, when you come to JSON, right? So, the same data of 3 employees can be sent in, in this way. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Same data, if someone want to store and store data in XML. So, that incurs these many lines. Okay. It will be these many lines. However, if they use JSON, right? Like you can see the clear difference between this and this, right? For just 3 employee details, you have this much difference. So here you can, right? So you understood the difference, right? What is it? What do you mean by a lightweight format, right?
Yes.
Right? JSON is defined like this. This is the JSON format.
Key value pairs.
Sorry?
Key value pairs for JSON.
Right. Yeah. So these are called as key value pairs. This is key and this is value. This is key and this is value. Okay.
So when interviewer asks, give the lightweight examples, should we write the code and tell him, or how should we give the response?
It would be good if you can write.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now let's move on to that. Right. So now JMeter stores this, saves these test results in different formats, and we'll see that how can we save in these formats, right? And tester can analyze the data. And now this diagram speaks about. Let me explain this picture. So JMeter creates request to target server by simulating the number of users, right? And it will send to the server, right? And it will also collect the results. So here you can see JMeter saves all. So once the server responds, right? Once the server responds, sends the response, right? So it will save all the responses and it gathers the data to calculate the statistical information, right? So we can collect a lot of data, like what is the response time, average, min, max. It will collect all those details, and we'll see it soon, right? So how it will collect the data, or how it will send a request to the server and so on. All right. So this is how JMeter works, or for that matter, most of the performance testing tools work in this way. They will basically simulate the real world users, right? They will behave as if they are a real world user. They will send a request to the server, whether it is HTTP, HTTPS, FTP. They will send a request to the server and collect the response, and they will process the response. Right. So you'll get more clarity on this picture very soon. Now, so any queries over here? Okay, so I'm moving to the next slide then. Right. So let me quickly compare load runner and JMeter. So as these two are the major tools in the market for performance testing, right? So I have a quick comparison table. The reason why is most of you will be like you'll be learning, or you'll be working on load runner and JMeter, right? So this is another important interview question. So so say for example, your client asked you what tool, which tool do you recommend, right? So which tool do you recommend, and on what basis, right? So suppose you have to suggest some performance testing tool to the client, right? Or if client asks you between load runner and JMeter, like which tool do you do you suggest, and and on what basis, what is the reason, right? So like you have to know difference between load runner and JMeter to answer that question, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, so that's why I have a quick comparison between load runner and JMeter. So basically load runner is a licensed software, whereas JMeter is open source tool. So here I have given load runner professional. So from 2020 onwards, they named load runner as load runner professional, guys. Okay, please note this change, so from 2020 last year onwards, they named it as load runner professional. And this is our
Okay.
JMeter, right? So load runner is a licensed software, whereas JMeter is an open source tool, and it has load runner has very user friendly UI, right? And lags in UI, can't run in GUI mode for load tests, right? So compared to the licensed tools, it lags in UI, right? UI is not that much user friendly. It is there, right? For scripting and debugging purpose, we always use the GUI. I have shown you in the last session, the JMeter GUI, right? So we'll see it one more time today. And when you are running load test, when we are doing testing, right, we can't we can't run JMeter in GUI mode, right? So what is GUI? What does hold on, let me yeah. So when you are running load test, right, with JMeter, you can't run in GUI mode, right? So you have to run in CLI mode. What is CLI, Ramya? Okay, let me maybe I didn't cover it yet, right? So CLI stands for command line interface. Okay. Hey, I
Okay.
think I have shown you, right? Let me
Yes,
quickly
sir.
show you that one more
Yes,
time.
sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
have shown you in the last session when I launched JMeter, right? I have covered.
Yeah.
So once you launch JMeter on the JMeter console, you see a, like a statement like this, right? So don't use GI mode for load testing, right? Use only for test creation and test debugging. Let me minimize this. Yeah. Right? So for load testing, use CLI mode. There I explained it. CLI stands for command line interface. Right? That is also called as non-GUI. Okay. So we'll see the remaining statements, once we start scripting, right? So this is to, this is the command to run JMeter script in JMeter in non-GUI mode. Okay. Another important interview question. So, can you tell me what is the command for running JMeter in non-GUI mode? And what does each of these stand for? What does -N, -T? You have to explain, like, what are all these, right? What does the -L stand for? What does -O and -E and -O stands for? I'll explain soon, right? So, however, just note down that you will have the command here. Whenever you launch JMeter, you will see this. Okay, so you can't say, like, please, you can't say that I don't remember it. So you have to remember, because every time you launch JMeter, you see this line, right? Okay. Right, so this is all about running a load test, right? So whereas with LoadRunner you have very user friendly UI. You have 3 LoadRunner components, like Vusion, controller, and analysis components. And LoadRunner is much more mature tool, right? So because it is the pioneer tool for performance testing, right? What is pioneer? What does pioneer means? Was there? What is
First
pioneer?
tool.
Yes. Yeah, someone said it already.
Sorry. First tool.
First tool, yeah. So pioneer means someone who is first mover, right? We call them as first mover in their field, right? So because LoadRunner is a pioneer tool, like it has a very user friendly UI, whereas coming to JMeter, like it lacks in UI and can't run in GUI mode for load test, right? And LoadRunner supports SAP CWell and almost every protocol. It supports from legacy mainframes to rich internet applications, right? Mainframes is the oldest technology, right? So it supports mainframes as well. From mainframes to the latest rich internet applications, it supports almost every protocol. LoadRunner, right? This is regarding LoadRunner base, right? So, and whereas coming to JMeter, it doesn't support SAP GUI and CWell, right? JMeter can't support SAP GUI and CWell, and LoadRunner supports almost all protocols, and here are the few protocols supported by JMeter. And HPALM provides performance center. Performance center is also renamed as LoadRunner Enterprise. Okay, those who are working right already on LoadRunner, right? So you may be aware of it already. If not, please make a note that Performance Center is renamed as LoadRunner Enterprise, and LoadRunner is renamed as LoadRunner Professional. Okay, and we don't have anything as such for JMeter. So maybe those who are working on LoadRunner, you should be aware of this Performance Center or LoadRunner Enterprise, right? Or like it is just what is Performance Center. Those who completed LoadRunner course, those who completed LoadRunner course. Aparna, what is Performance Center or
Hello.
LoadRunner Enterprise? What is this?
Pawan, just a minute. I have disconnected and came back.
Okay.
Tell me.
Yeah. So what is this Performance Center? What is this Performance Center or LoadRunner Enterprise?
Performance Center also belongs to LoadRunner only, right? We like monitoring.
No?
Like,
Okay.
we
Anyone
have
from
shown
previous
it.
batch?
It's
Sindhu? Sindhu or
like a
Pawan?
controller. We need to execute the scripts here.
Huh?
We need to execute the scripts here.
We'll execute the scripts here in Performance Center instead of controller. I'm asking what is,
Yes.
I mean, why do we go for Performance Center? Or, or else what is the difference? Or else, let me ask in this way. What is the difference between controller and Performance Center?
Performance Center is a web-based tool where we can create scenarios and execute our scenarios according to our load test.
Right. Who is this? Who is this? Is it Ganesh?
It's Nagendra.
Nagendra. Okay. Okay. Right. So Performance Center is a web interface for controller. Yes. It's a browser-based application for controller. Okay. Controller is a standalone application. Yes, those who join JMeter, you don't worry about this. Okay. So you learn this later. Okay. Don't worry about this. Oh, but Performance Center is nothing but it is a web interface for controller, right? Or browser-based application. So for controller, isn't it? Controller is a desktop application, so you have to install that controller, right? So when you install LoadRunner, you get these three components, right? So controller and analysis and what is a VUgen. The first and foremost component is VUgen, right? Yes, able to follow me. So basically you
Yes.
will install this controller. So when you install LoadRunner, this will be installed on your desktop, right? Whereas Performance Center, like you can access it from the browser. Okay, that is a main difference. And anyone who is having access, right? They can log in and they can start and monitor the test, right? They can do the load test executions and they can book the time slots also, right? They can book the time slots when multiple projects are using same infrastructure, right?
Remotely, we can do that.
Yes. Right. So however, we don't have anything as such for JMeter, and all license tools will have dedicated support team, whereas there is no dedicated support for JMeter as it is an open source tool, right? This is clear, right? We have a dedicated support team and JMeter doesn't have a dedicated support team. And those who have completed LoadRunner, this regenerate, what is this regenerate script feature, right? So, and we don't have that regenerate script feature like LoadRunner. Right, in JMeter we don't have that regenerate script feature. Like those who completed LoadRunner, this is for them, guys. Okay, those who joined from JMeter, like you will come to know once we start LoadRunner, like you will come to know that all these what are
We
this.
can also mention for LoadRunner Professional, 50 users we uses, right?
Yes, so with trial version it supports 50 users.
Okay.
Right, and if they ask you like which performance testing tool do you recommend, right? Or which one are you comfortable? Some guys ask like which tool are you comfortable with, LoadRunner or JMeter? Okay, they will ask you this question also. So first, coming to the first question, which tool do you recommend, right? So what is your answer now? So can someone try to answer that? Which tool you
LoadRunner.
recommend?
LoadRunner, sir.
Okay, then why is JMeter? Why are we learning JMeter?
It's
We are
a open
practicing
source.
by LoadRunner,
Depends
right?
on
So that's
the
why
application.
Okay, let me explain. So like it depends on your application protocol, guys. Okay, first and foremost thing is it depends on your application protocol, right? So if your application protocol is supported by JMeter, we can go for that because it is an open source tool, right? There are many factors here. One thing is your application protocol. The first and foremost thing is your application protocol, right? And your client budget, right? And like target user load, right? So it depends on many factors like this, right? So with LoadRunner, like we can simulate lakhs of users also very easily, right? So but JMeter will be having limitations because it it is, we just now discussed it, it consumes high memory, right? That is one limitation or a disadvantage of JMeter.
I memory.
There is high memory consumption, right? And heap memory issue is common while running a distributed scenario on a, of course, when we are when we, this is when we are running on a single machine. And when even though we are running test on multiple machines, right, JMeter consumes more memory. Please remember this. And one more thing is we have to depend on Bean Shell or Perl for complex scripting. We have to, right? So we have to we should know, like resources should know Bean Shell, for Bean Shell scripting for if you want to write some custom coding, Okay. So, and also JMeter's report having less features which make analysis bit difficult. JMeter's report, the report generated by JMeter will be having less features, which will make the analysis bit difficult. But those who completed load runner, right? So you have seen the load runner report, right? So how to filter, how can we filter the report? How can we merge graphs, right? And like it makes analysis very easy with load runner or any other license tool, right? So whereas coming to this JMeter, JMeter, report has less features. Is it clear? So based on all these factors, we will decide like whether we'll want to go for a licensed tool or a open source tool. Based on the client budget also, right? So it depends on the client's budget also. If client doesn't have budget to go for licensed tools, definitely, and if your application supports, if your application protocol is supported by JMeter, yes, we can go for JMeter because it is an open source tool, free tool, right? And client doesn't have budget for licensed tools, isn't it?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And target user load also, this is another important factor. With load runner, like you can run like lakhs of users seamlessly, very easily. You can run, you can simulate, or you can simulate lakhs of users, right? Means we can do load test with lakhs of users. That's what I mean to say. Simulate means, right? Whereas coming to JMeter, like it, because it is high in memory consumption, we cannot scale to that extent. Clear? Guys, is it clear or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right, just remember these 3 points. Okay, the first one is application protocol. It should be, we have to check whether our tool supports, JMeter supports this protocol or not, right? Or which tool supports this application protocol. The next thing is the client budget, right? So if client have the budget or not for licensed tools. If client doesn't have budget, or client want to do some cost cutting, yes, we have to go for some open source tool. And also it depends on the target user load. So there are many factors, like it's not just because load runner is user friendly, or you are comfortable with load runner, it's not just that, that reason. There are many other factors which impact this, right? Which affect this, choosing a tool. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, getting started with JMeter on Windows, we have done this already in the last session, right? So I'll move to the next topic. So in case you face some issues, right, I gave some, I actually faced this issue, right? So I actually faced this issue, like, when installing one JMeter version, that's why I kept this. And the reason for that is, like, I know like 32-bit Java. So the reason for this issue is, I think this is for because of 32-bit Java that I got this error. So in case you come across this error, you can refer to this. Okay. So you have to go for 64-bit Java. Is it clear, guys? If you get this, in case you see this error,
Yes.
could not reserve enough space for object heap. In case you get this error, the reason for that error is, see, any application you get, 32-bit and 64-bit versions. You remember when we installed Notepad also, Notepad++, we saw that, right?
Yes, sir.
So do you remember that, like, let me see, we Googled for, Notepad, download Notepad++, and, once we go there, so these are the different versions of Notepad++, right? And this is the latest version. So once you click on this, you have different options here, 32-bit software and 64-bit, right? See, this is 32-bit Notepad++, and this is 64-bit. So in the same way, Java also will have 32-bit Java and 64-bit Java, right? Then, I asked you to install 64-bit Java because on that, when you have 32-bit Java, there is a chance that you get this issue. You get this error while, while using JMeter, you will get this error. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, these are the different ways to launch JMeter. I also covered this in the last session, right? JMeter.bat, Apache JMeter.jar, and you can open it from command prompt or custom batch files. Some people write some batch files and invoke JMeter from that, right? So, custom batch files, they will write their own batch files based on the project requirement, guys. Okay. However, I have shown you these three already. How to start
What is
JMeter.
batch?
Windows batch file. See, this is also jmeter.bat is also a Windows batch file, right?
Yes.
See, jmeter.bat, this is a Windows batch file. Let me show you. Let me open that and let me show you how does a batch file look like. So this is how a batch file look like. You can open it in Notepad or any editor. You can open it in any editor and you can see the code of batch file. Okay.
Okay.
So actually, I also explained this, right? So basically, when you double click this jmeter.bat, right, we are actually invoking that Apache jmeter.jar only. We are actually calling
Okay.
Apache jmeter.jar, right? So somewhere you have this Apache jmeter.jar file, right? Open this is missing. I have shown you, right? Like Apache jmeter.jar, like I have shown you, right? This one,
Yes.
right? You can start JMeter by
Yes.
double clicking this jar file also. This is an executable jar file, by the way, right? This is an executable jar file. Executable means you can execute that, you can run that jar file. Okay. Now, so possible issues. One more issue when we launched JMeter. I got one more issue. I captured the screenshot. Find str is not recognized, and I got it long back. Don't worry about this. But in case you get this right, this is the solution. Adding ipconfig.exe path in the path variable. It resolved that issue. In case you get this issue, you can refer to this, right? These are the possible issues. Like, one issue is over here, right? Possible issues when we run JMeter, right? And the solution for this is like you should install 64-bit Java if you get this error message. All right. One more issue is like, this is the issue that I got, in some other instance, some other time, right? And the solution for this is we have to add the ipconfig.exe path in the path variable. Okay. So everyone should know what is environment variable. Okay. So I'll explain this later, guys. I don't want to give you too many inputs at the moment. I'll explain you what is environment variable and all this. And I'll show you what is this path variable. Okay. I'll explain this later. Let me show you first, how to open this environment variables. So you type here in Windows search box, you type environment variables and click on that, the first one. So this is called as environment. So here it is, guys. Under system properties, you have something called environment variables. And I mentioned about the path, right? So it will be somewhere here. By default, you will have this path here. I'll explain what is this environment variables and all later, right? But like for this solution, if you get this solution, right, you have to add ipconfig.exe path in the path variable. When I say path variable, this is the path variable, right? And how do you add that is you click on edit and you can add it here. Say new and you can give the path of ipconfig.exe in case you get this issue. Okay. So this is how this is what environment variables window is. Okay. I'll explain that later, like where do we use that environment variables and how to use that, right? And in environment variables, you have two things, right? So one is system variables and user variables. We'll slowly learn everything, okay? Those who join, because I have some new joiners, right? So I don't want to confuse them with too many inputs at the moment. Those who are already aware of this, there is something called user variables and system variables. This is simple to understand. Okay, let me explain this. User variables means on a system, on any computer, we can create multiple users, right? User profiles, right? I hope everyone is aware of that. We can create multiple users on a system or user profiles,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you set something in user variables, right, that will be applicable to only that user. with whatever user you have set this value, that will be applicable to only that user. Whereas system variables means at the system level, these variables we are setting at the system level, means this will be applicable to all the users of that system. So that is the main difference between user variables and system variables. Okay, we'll discuss what is this environment variables and how to edit or how to add some variable. We'll discuss that in some other session. All right. So as I got a context here, I have to show you that. I had to show you that thing. Clear? Yes. Is it clear? Shall we move to the next slide? And it is, these are the steps, or these are the commands, different commands to use JMeter on Mac, right? So on if you are using Mac OS, or if your office is providing Apple laptops, right? So you can use these commands. Okay, in case your office is few organizations provide you MacBook Pros or Apple laptops, right? So for those guys, like I have cut the commands here. I have listed out the commands like brew install JMeter. This is the command to install JMeter, right? And because you will not uh, you cannot invoke that you cannot double click, and if you want to install that, right? Or else let me explain this. So is anyone using Mac? Yes, say yes or no. So I think someone asked like they have a Mac.
No.
Okay,
No.
so it's a guy there. Okay, so leave it then. So but in case you want to use JMeter on a Mac, these are the commands. This is the command to install JMeter, and to upgrade JMeter, brew upgrade JMeter. Brew is nothing but like it is a package that simplifies software installation on Mac. I gave the explanation here. Homebrew or brew is nothing but it is a package that simplifies software installation on a Mac operating system. Mac for Macintosh, right? And this is to upgrade, or like to start JMeter, you have to use this command from the terminal, right? So like if someone is using Mac, I will show in one session. Okay, so I'll show that. I can show that.
Yeah, Kishore, I'm using. Can we? I mean, I'm not able to install actually. It's asking some.
Okay, use this command. Open terminal. Can you share your screen? I'll quickly show you that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me stop. Yeah. Yeah. You open a terminal, right? Like now, use this command brew install JMeter.
Cool.
BREW. Yes.
Okay.
So it will, download the latest version only. So you just use that command brew install JMeter.
Brew space install, right?
Space, yes. Brew space, install space, JMeter. Okay, brew command. So first you need to, install that homebrew package.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense. I will add that command also. I know, like I don't remember that command. I will add that command as well. Okay.
Okay.
Probably like we'll see tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow on your machine.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You don't have homebrew package basically.
Okay. Okay.
Or else just Google it and and install that that homebrew package. How to get that homebrew package?
Okay. So I will download it today, and we can. Think we need to remove this inverted comma, right? Or else.
No. Try with that inverted commas. Curl command not found. Oh, okay. So you have to install curl also then, right?
Okay.
Okay, and also I'll add those commands also. Like because I was able to use these commands and start successfully. So by that time I already have that homebrew on my MacBook, right? So, I'll show that in the next session. Okay, in one of the next sessions I'll show that. For you, we'll do that offline today.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Next. So, and let this slide speaks about the terminology, load runner and JMeter terminology. So we'll see this slide later. Shall we start with JMeter? Start with JMeter. I want to start with JMeter. Hold on, let me see like what all you need to know before. Yeah. Now we'll start JMeter in the next session. So you need to know first of all what is a proxy server before starting JMeter. Like you need to know what is a proxy server and you need to know these concepts, right? Different words to create JMeters. I'll do one thing. I'll give you I'll launch JMeter and show you the menu options and I'll explain the user interface for today. Okay. So before going to that, this is this slide speaks about like I have listed out different terms in load runner and JMeter, right? So those who completed load runner, right? So like in load runner we call that as each business flow we create one script, right? For each business flow we create one script, right? Here we in JMeter we call that as a thread group, right? And scenario combination of scripts is called as scenario in load runner, right? So here we call that as test plan, right? And action in load runner is called as sampler in JMeter. So think time in load runner is called as timer, right? And rendezvous point in load runner, we have something called synchronizing timer in JMeter for the inserting rendezvous points, right? And parameter file we those who completed load runner, right? So you use lot of created lot of parameter files and use them, right? So here in JMeter we use this something called CSV dataset config element, right? And like we will see, we will explain, we will discuss these boundary extractor, regular expression extractor once we start JMeter. Okay, but here are the differences are terminology, different terminology between load runner and JMeter. And these are all the correlation functions in load runner, right? WebEx, param, EX, REG, XP, JSON, XPath, right? So here we have something called boundary extractor element, regular expression extractor, JSON extractor, and XPath extractor, right? So if you are using load runner, you will use this function. If you are using JMeter, you will use this boundary extractor element for correlations, right? So I have to explain first what is correlation to we'll have one one step. Okay, I should have done it yesterday. Okay, so we'll do one thing. So we'll have one. I want to explain. I want to take an additional session for new joiners, and I'll explain you what is what is session ID and what is correlation. Okay, we'll plan it. I'll let you know in the WhatsApp group. Right. So, but basically, like here is a quick comparison of load runner and JMeter terminology. Right, in load runner, for verifying the page we do something called check strings or page validation, right? What is the function for this? For check strings or page validation, those who completed load runner, guys.
WebRec find.
WebRec
WebRec find here, right? So in JMeter we use something called assertion. Okay, so like you'll get a better clarity those who completed load runner, right? And you can you'll get a better clarity on this, right? Now, so we'll revisit this again, okay? So don't worry about that, right? And these are the improvements in 5.3 version. So 5.3 there are some major improvements. That's why I have listed out here. Okay, there are some. See, the current JMeter version that we are using is the latest version is 5.4.1. Okay, so and in 5.3 version, there are some major improvements. There are some major improvements, very important improvements. That's why I have retained this slide, even though we are on 5.4.1. So I still kept this slide because in 5.3, there are some major improvements. Okay. So we will discuss this also later. Okay. So, let me go to the next slide. I'm looking for, what all I need to cover like for starting JMeter. Yeah. So before starting JMeter, this is one last thing that I want to explain you. That is proxy server. What is meant by a proxy server? So proxy server means, so many times, few people, will not. So basically, if you want to record a script with JMeter, you will set JMeter as a proxy between your browser and server, right? So like whenever you come there across this JMeter tool, right, you hear this proxy concept very frequently, right? So few people like don't know like what is proxy server and what is the purpose of setting that. So this slide explains clearly, like so what this slide explains clearly what is a proxy server, what is the meaning of the term proxy, right? What is the meaning of the term proxy, and what does a proxy does, right? So I gave the definition here. So a proxy is a component which inserts between you and the remote server. A proxy is a component which inserts between you and the remote server, right? As anything between the remote server and you goes through the proxy, when JMeter acts like a proxy, it can record all your browser interactions, right? That is your definition of proxy server and what does it do. Now let me explain this, right? So first of all, understand what is a proxy. Proxy means something which will be between. A proxy server means, in software means, which inserts between you and the remote server, some remote server. So in this example, you can see, in this diagram, right, you can see that there is a proxy in between two persons, Alice and Bob, right? So this proxy acts as a mediator between these two. Say for example, Alice is from, he knows one language and Bob doesn't know that language. So it acts as a translator here. Proxy acts as a translator here between these two persons if they don't know a common language. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right? So with JMeter, when you record a script with JMeter, you have to set JMeter as a proxy between browser and server. Between you means you will be interacting with the application through a browser, right? So you have to set JMeter as a proxy between your browser and server, so that any communication that is happening between browser and server goes through this JMeter and it will record those interactions. It can record all your browser interactions. Is it clear, guys? Okay, I'll explain this. We'll see that practically once we start JMeter scripting. Okay, then I think you will get a better idea. Okay, so for now, remember that proxy means it is a component which inserts between you means your browser and the remote server, right? As anything between the remote server and you goes through the proxy, when JMeter acts as a proxy, it will record all the browser interactions. Okay, so you'll better understand this once we start JMeter, but you should be familiar with this term proxy server. Okay, so this is all about, we'll revisit this slide also, don't worry about this. So like setting JMeter as a proxy, yeah. So here are the steps to set JMeter as a proxy in different browsers. I'll show that very soon, right? And different ways to create a JMeter script. We will also see this later on. Let me start with JMeter UI testing script recording step by step, right? So let's start with this, like how to record a script with JMeter, right? So these are the steps. First, to launch JMeter GUI, and we will have a test plan element by default, right? Once you launch JMeter, we will have a test plan element by default, and test plan is the core element of any JMeter script. So here you can see, once you launch JMeter, you will have a test plan element here. By the way, you will have in dark background by default, right? Isn't it? Can you launch JMeter, everyone? Can you please launch JMeter on your machine, please? So by default, you will have a dark background, right? Dark theme, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right, you can change that theme. So how you can change is, you can go to options, right? And somewhere you see look and feel. Yeah, look and feel, the first one. Options, look and feel. Right? Options, look under options, look and feel, right? So by default, this dark left will be selected. Okay, you change the look and feel to some windows, or if you are not comfortable with the dark theme. Okay, if you want this light color background, right, you can change it. So currently you can see that I selected Windows. Okay, so but like by default you'll have this. Let me start 5.4.1. This is another version that I am having. By default, you will have the dark theme, right? Okay, I changed this one also. So basically, if you want to change that, right? So by default, this is the default one, dark left, right? That is the default one, isn't it? So once you change the theme, right, it will be restarted, okay? And it will be applied, the background, right? So by default, this is what you see, right?
Yes.
And you know, observe here, you know, there is an element, you see, in JMeter, we call these as elements, okay? So, and by default, you will have a test plan element with a conical flask symbol. Is it clear, right? Is it visible clearly? Or else let me zoom in, okay? So observe here, there is a zoom in option. In options, you know, there is a option to zoom in. If you want to, you know, if you want to increase the font size, right? So you can do that. You can zoom in and, you know, you can, now it is, hope now it is clear, right? It is more clearly visible, right? So observe here, by default, you have an element called test plan element with a conical flask symbol, right? You remember this conical flask?
Yes.
We came across this in our intermediate or graduation, right? Right? So, you know, this is the default element in test in JMeter, right? In JMeter. And add a thread group to the test plan, right? So very important interview question. So can you explain what are the steps in recording a JMeter script? So you have to explain these steps, okay? You have to add a thread group to the test plan, add a non-test element called HTTPS test script recorder, right? So before going to this, right? So let me explain, you know, how to record a script in LoadRunner. Let me quickly show you, okay? Those who completed LoadRunner, you are already aware of how simple it is, right? So you launch virtual user generator. Yes, this is for those, you know, who completed, you know, who joined newly into JMeter, right? I just want to show the LoadRunner interface and, you know, we discussed something, right? You know, it has user-friendly LoadRunner. Has very user-friendly UI, right? I just want to show that.
UI has user-friendly, easy to execute load test.
Yeah, even for load test execution also, it is controller also has also a user-friendly UI, right? Here we discussed that LoadRunner is having user-friendly UI, right? Let me show you. See, this is LoadRunner. Once we launch the tool, we select, you know, go to File, New Script and Solution. Here you can, these are the protocols supported by LoadRunner, guys. Okay. So observe here, you know, you have in each column, you have 8 protocols, right? Isn't it? 8 protocols. And, you know, you have 4 columns, 4H32 plus 133, right? It supports, you know, like 30 plus protocols, right? Whereas JMeter supports 10 protocols. So you select the protocol first in LoadRunner, you select the protocol and click create. And you know, like for recording the script, right? You just click the record button, right? You click the record button, right? And you will give the, so here, you know, like you will give the URL, whichever whatever you want to record, you will put the URL and click on start recording. So however, in JMeter, you know, like it is not so straightforward. So, okay, one more thing is, once you click on start recording in LoadRunner, it will launch the browser, whatever browser that is selected by default, it will launch the browser for you. Okay. It will launch the browser and I have gave the URL, right? So it will launch that URL. Right? So this is how we record a script in LoadRunner case, right? Now let's see in JMeter, okay? So you know that those who completed LoadRunner, you are already aware of this, right? So let me stop recording and, you know, it will generate the script for you. Now, you know, let's see for JMeter, you know, how do we record a script in JMeter? Okay, let's go to that. So this is, you know, your, you know, LoadRunner script is ready for those steps, right? Okay, so now you understood why now. Like, let me show you JMeter, then you will understand, like, you know, what is this user-friendly UI. You know, how can you, you know, you will understand this point clearly, right? Now let me, you know, those who learn JMeter first, it will be easy. JMeter, those who learned LoadRunner first, right? So it will should be JMeter should be easy, right, for you, right? However, JMeter is the tool which is having more demand nowadays. Okay, so so now let's see like how to record a script in JMeter, right? So once you launch JMeter GUI, you will have a test plan element by default. I have shown you that already. And add a thread group to the test plan. Now, what is this thread group, right? What is this thread group, right? So thread group means nothing but a script, guys. Okay. So if you want to record a script, we add a thread group element. How do we add that? Is add thread group, right? So right click on the test plan. You get what is this window called as? In Windows operating system, when you right click, right, that window is called as, we have a term for this. Anyone? Yes, you know that. I already explained that. I already mentioned that in one of the last sessions.
Yes.
Context menu.
Right, context menu.
Context menu.
Who is that who told that?
Sai Kiran, sir.
Yeah. Do you have Sai Nikhil? Okay. Yeah. Right. So once you right click, right? So we call this as context menu because depending on where you clicked, where you did right click, it will show you the options. Okay. Observe here what are the options we have: add, paste, open, merge, and so on. Right. So first let me add a thread group. Okay. Then you will see that in the next step you will see that. So go to add threads and thread group. Right. You add a thread group. Thread group and nothing but a script. Right. Now right click here and observe. See, the options are changing here. Isn't it?
Yes.
You have different options here because you right click down the thread group and the context is different. That's why this is called as context menu. Right? Based on where you right click, it will show you the options. Right? So this is how we add different elements to JMeter. Right? So is it so difficult? Is there no other option? We all like instant things, right? Yes, there is an option. Yes or no? See, instead of doing all these steps, right? Add a non-test element, right? Add a listener, add an XML file, add transaction controllers. Instead of all these steps, right? So JMeter provided one shortcut for you, right? For lazy guys like so, or for convenience, user convenience, JMeter has provided something called templates, right? JMeter provides some ready-made templates. If you go to file, go to templates, right? So you have different templates here, and you can choose the template. First we'll go with the recording template. We'll see the recording template first, right? Click create. There are test elements. Okay, I don't want to save that. Okay. Yeah. So here it is, guys. So there is a thread group already added. Test plan element comes by default, and it added templates will be having all the required elements for a for recording any script, right? And there is a HTTPS test script recorder element as well. So here you add that. Actually, when you create a manual template, right, you add a non-test element called HTTPS test script recorder. This is for recording the script, right? But if you go to templates, right, so you will have all this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is instant thing, instant one, like instant coffee, right? But why do we know to, why did I start with this, all these steps, or why does the interviewers ask this, all these steps? See, this is a very important interview question in JMeter. Can you explain what are the steps in recording a script, JMeter script, right? Because you have to know what are all these elements. In JMeter, these are called as test plan is an element. User defined variables is an element, right? All these are called as elements. And you should know what is the purpose of each of these elements. You should clearly know what is the purpose of each of these elements. Then only you will understand, how to use JMeter, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? So which one you want me to go with? You want me go with the template, or you want me to go with a manual template? You want me to go with a ready-made template or a manual template?
Manual.
Manual templates.
right? Very important interview question this is, however, if you don't remember, or if you are confused anytime, like you can use these templates, okay? Right? So let me do one thing. So it's 8:53 now. I want to stop it here for today, right? I'll quickly show you how to create a template. Okay, I have shown you ready-made templates, right? Instant templates, right? I'll quickly show you how to create a manual template also. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So let me show you that. Okay. So how to launch templates, guys? Ready-made templates. Go to File, Templates. Go to Templates, and you have different types of templates. There are around 10 templates. How many templates are there? 10 to 15, I think. Right. One. Hold on. $14 templates as of now. The latest version is having 14 templates. Right. You can either select recording template or recording with think time template. Anything is fine. And this is how a recording template look like, right? This is how a recording template look like. I will minimize this and I will create a manual template. I prefer to use manual template, right? So I'll explain why. I started another instance of JMeter. I started another instance of JMeter, right? 2 JMeter instances are running, right? Be familiar with this terminology. Okay, now let me zoom in. First I will zoom in, so that it will be visible to you clearly. Okay, is this enough, or you want me to further zoom in further? All right. This is good enough, right? So by default, you will have this touch plan element, that is understood, right? So this is the core element for any JMeter script. This is the core element, important element for in JMeter. Right. Now let me let me show you what are the next steps. So once we do this test plan, we will add something called thread group. How do we add that? What is thread group? First of all, thread group is nothing but a script, right? Thread group is nothing but a script in JMeter. So you add a thread group, and that to that thread group you add sampler, logic controller. Sorry, you add a logic controller called transaction controller, right? Transaction control. What is meant by, so first I hope you remember what is a transaction. What is a transaction, guys?
User action.
Any user action is called as a transaction, right? So what does this transaction contain means? See, any user action, say for example you type you type flipkart.com, you send a request to Flipkart server. This is one transaction, right? This is one transaction. This is nothing but transaction. So to to add the transaction, we use this transaction controller. As simple as that. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
And to record the script, we need to add an element called non-test element called test script recorder. Okay. We add a non-test element called test script recorder. Why that is under test non-test element is, see, observe here. It is under non-test element, means it is used only for recording. We don't use it while doing a test execution. We don't use that. That's why it is called as a non-test element. That's it. As simple as that. So all these elements are classified under different categories. We have some elements in threads, we have some element in config elements. Under config elements, these are all config elements. You have different listeners, right? So we'll learn each of these gradually, day by day we'll learn each of these. For now, for recording a script, we add a non-test element called HTTP or HTTPS test script recorder. Means whether it is HTTP or HTTPS, we use this non-test element called HTTPS test script recorder. I already added that, right? And this is called as hold on, let me. So you see, the screen is divided in two parts, right? So this is the left frame, right? And this is called as control panel. Control panel of test script recorder, isn't it? See, once you select the element, right? I selected thread group. Now you can see this is thread group control panel. All options related to the thread group will be here, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is called as thread group control panel. If you select recorder, this is called as recorder control panel. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If you select transaction controller, right, this is called as transaction controller control panel. Okay. So, and this, we have a tree structure. We call this as a tree structure, right? So, see, this is, we can expand this or collapse this, right? This is a tree structure, right? Is it clear, guys? Shall I clear this drawings? Yeah. And now, let me show you the menu bar. Let's see the menu bar also. What all options are there? You have file. Under file, you have new templates, open option. If you want to open an existing script, obviously you will use this. If you want to open the recent scripts, all the recent scripts will be stored under this, right? Open recent, and you can open some recent script. Okay. And you have merge option, save test planners, and all this. Under edit, like if you want to, under edit, you have cut, copy, paste options, duplicate, remove, and all this, right? And you have under search, suppose you have a search box, right? If you want to search something, you can use this, go to search and use this search option. Okay. And research search, I'll show you what is research search. Once we start scripting, you'll see that. And under run, like if you want to start the test, you can use this start option, remote start, and all this, right? And under options, you have look and feel. The first and foremost important thing is look and feel. So if you see, this is the default one, guys. Darkula. This is the theme is called as Darkula theme. Okay, the default one. However, if you don't want this dark color background, if you want Windows like kind of background, so you can select either this Windows or Windows Classic. Okay, which you have already seen, isn't it? I think like I have JMeter 5.3 also on my machine. So you can have different versions of JMeter on your machine. Okay, it doesn't cause any issue. Okay, you can have different versions of JMeter on your machine. This is 5.3, right? So in any version, like, by default, you will have the dark theme. So if you want to select, a different theme, go to look and feel and select, either Windows or Windows Classic or whatever you like. Okay. So I'll select Windows Classic, right? So this is Windows Classic. Did you observe here, 5.3, you don't require a restart. Automatically the theme is applied, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
See, you don't require a restart. Suppose I want to switch back, I want to change this. See, it is automatically getting applied.
Yes.
If I want to come back to this Darkula, it is automatically applied once you select the theme. However, 5.4.1, it requires a restart, guys. 5.4, 5.4.1, it requires a restart. Okay. See here, if I select Windows, right, it will be restarted. See, that file that got minimized means it is restarting. We started 5.4, I think I applied that on 5.4. Right? But for the 5.3 version, right, you need not restart it. It will be applied automatically. That's what, I mentioned that in the 5.3. I said you, right, there in 5.3, there are some major improvements compared to the previous version, right? I mentioned that somewhere here. I remember that I mentioned somewhere. See, look and feel can now be updated without a restart. This is in 5.3, guys. Okay. Again, I don't know why, but again, the from 5.4 onwards, we need to restart it again, right? But these are the major improvements compared to the previous versions. Okay, this is another important improvement, right? So I'll explain this. What is this HTTP time to live and so on? I'll explain this later on. Okay, so for now, let's go to that. Let's create a manual template for today, and let's let me close the session for today, right? So like suppose your script has 10 steps, right? You add this transaction controller 10 times. Once you add one transaction controller, copy it. I copied it using Control C and paste it. Put your control here, and I'm doing Control V. Means I'm pasting. If your script has 10 transactions, right? You add 10 transaction controllers, right? Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
right? And for recording the script, we added this recorder element, right? And here you have a recorder option. If you want to start the recording, here you can start the recording option. Click on start button, it will start recording. Okay, for before that, you need to change to the transaction controller and click on start recording. There are few more steps to do here. I'll explain that later tomorrow. Okay, so now recording is started. So we are running out of time, right? We'll see tomorrow like how to record a script. Now the JMeter script recording is started. And remember that once you start recording, you have to manually launch the browser in JMeter. Right? LoadRunner launches the browser automatically. Okay, in LoadRunner, once we click on start recording, here you can select the browser, whatever browser you want to select, isn't it? Whatever
Yes.
browser you want to select, you can select it here. Whether you want to select Firefox or Chrome or Edge, you can select it here. However, with JMeter, so you have to manually launch the browser. Let me close this old version 5.3, that old guy. And this is 5.4.1 that we are using, right? And observe here, the version number will be displayed here. Observe here, right? So the version number will be displayed here, right? And on the top right, you see some triangle symbol, right? This is nothing but log messages will be shown here. If you click on this, it will show you the different log messages. Okay, these are the different log messages. Okay, so are you comfortable with this dark background, or shall we go with the white background?
White background.
Windows Classic, Windows theme. We'll go with the Windows theme, not an issue. Okay, I'll save this first of all. So let me save with some name. So JMeter 541, recording template. REC template means recording template, right? I'll save it. I saved it. Now you can see it was saved in. It will be saved by default in bin folder. Okay, let me show you that quickly. By default, it will be saved in bin folder. Okay, let me go to that 5.4.1 bin, right? So observe here, it will be saved in, by default, it will be saved in bin folder. Okay, sort with date modified, right? Here you can see JMeter 541 recording template, right? I sorted with date modified, means the latest modified file will be appearing at the top if you sort with date modified, right? Top or bottom. Understood, right?
Yes.
sir.
Right.
Yes.
So now let me change the theme. Which one shall we go with, Windows or Windows? Or shall we continue with this dark theme?
Windows.
Windows.
Right. So changing. Observe here. Read this. Changing LAF. What is LAF? Changing LAF requires a restart to work correctly. Click yes to exit JMeter. So if you click yes, it will restart JMeter. So before restarting, let me explain what is this LAF. Any guess
Look
what
and
is
feel.
LAF?
Layout.
No, look and feel. LAF
Look
stands
and
for
feel.
look and feel. Okay.
Oh.
Changing LAF, changing look and feel requires a restart. Click yes and let's click yes. It should get restarted. Yeah, it's restarting. Right now it has switched to that Windows thing. And if you want to see the latest script, recent script, you go to file, open recent. Right now you can reload the template which we created just now. Right, isn't it? This is the one that we created, right?
Yes.
Right. So we'll continue tomorrow, guys. I'll stop it here. This is about JMeter GUI, and we will continue tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.